give you an introduction on ourselves. Before that, I will also talk about our association with Dare to Start, because we've seen you guys, Manoj and Jagdish, how you put in all your effort and strive to get things going. So I was especially happy, especially looking at your post yesterday about the success of the first day. And I'm sure your events get bigger and bigger. So a lot of success and good wishes to you from both of us too. So
Thank you so much, Jeevan.
if you allow me, then in that case, I will share my screen so that we can show you a presentation.
Yes, you can.
I think I can see somebody else sharing, so probably I might have to request to
Yes,
stop.
yes, do that. Yeah.
Perfect. So as Jagdish just introduced us, we are a startup called Smartivate, and we are here today to not only describe what we particularly do, but also our journey, which possibly could be a kind of an inspiration for young entrepreneurs and young minds to transform an idea into a working business model. So that being the case, I'd like to first introduce ourselves, which is the next slide. So Anand and myself, we are both co-founders of Smartivate. Uh, we are originally from South India. Anand is from Andhra Pradesh. I'm from Karnataka. And we happen to have our startup launched here in Germany, which is Smartivate. But then we have a background in energy technologies with specialization in renewables, sustainability, or innovation management and product development in general. Now, you may be also wondering what made us come all the way 8,000 kilometers away from home and have our business set up here. So there is a background story. Just like every other case, we do have a background story. So we did start with our bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And right after 12th, I mean, it was something that kind of led us into the engineering field, which got our hands dirty, and we wanted to experience some things that we were passionate about. Back then it was cars, but mechanical engineering was the first entry point that also introduced us to renewable technologies and sustainability in general. So that's when this newfound interest started hitting in. And we were also part of, I mean, we were in two different locations, so we were not students together in the same university. So I was in Mysore and Anand was in Chennai at SRM. So but then we had similar interests, so we were doing similar things, which we realized later in life when we got to speak. So things such as being part of the National Entrepreneurship Network, or even the Department of Science and Technology was kind of encouraging a lot of students to come up with innovative projects, work on their bachelor thesis, and so on. So that was where it all triggered in the beginning. And eventually, when we found our interest to be energy technologies and sustainability in general, we chose to look for master programs, which got us into Europe. That was our first entry point. So we were one of the first few Indians to join the master program, which was offered by the EIT. So there was this master school called Energy, which was called the KIC, Knowledge, Innovation and Community. And thereafter, it was under the hood of EIT, which today is quite a popular master program with 7 different specializations. So this was our first entry into Europe, and we happened to live in Portugal and Germany because it was a mobility program that introduced us to a diverse group of international students. So we were about 35 students from across the globe with 20 different nationalities. And there was so much to learn from one another. So there was a lot of inspiration that we got from one another. But what was special is that in this master program, we also had our winter schools and summer schools, which was more of an atelier, where we gathered to discuss a lot of things such as team building. We were given workshops on how to personally enhance our skills, our soft skills, and become better overall engineers. So in the end, when you graduate, you would be more confident to either work for an industry or become a consultant or become a researcher or even have your own startup. So this was the kind of exposure that we got uh, here in Europe under the EIT Master School. And with this, we were also introduced to a kind of a special method which was introduced to us as co-creation back then, where a lot of collective effort is put in from different mindsets, people with different backgrounds, a very interdisciplinary approach. And this is something that gave us a very good vibe on pushing ourselves to do things better. So this was also the time that we started thinking of our careers, which always reminded us of a particular question: what would be our dream job? Like, what is it that kind of a job that we would want to live in, like we would want to work in? So there was always this feeling deep down that, okay, if we are about to do something, if we are about to work in a bigger organization, it's always about creating marketable technologies, things that are driving sales, things that are beneficial to the society. So in the end, the overall picture, the global picture would be to create marketable services and technologies that would improve people's lives. This was the key goal. But then, just like every other student, we were also looking for a safety net. We were also looking for a comfort zone, which means a well-paying job, a suitable position that would give us the basics, that would help us establish a foundation, and become part of a regular corporate culture. So this was the kind of um, thought process that we had, although we wanted to do something on our own. So in the end, right after graduation, Anand and myself, we were in two different locations. So Anand was in Dusseldorf in North Germany, and I was in South Germany, working in two different companies. So we were research engineers working on several projects, working with the industry, and this was for about a year. So this was the time. This was between 2014 and 2017. We happened to see a lot of transition. So when we first entered Europe, we saw this major difference, this paradigm shift on what we as students could see back home in India and what we are currently experiencing here in Europe, the kind of advancement in technology and infrastructure. So that was also the time where a lot of new things and buzzwords such as Internet of Things and Industry 4.0 and all of that were discussed a lot, be it being robots being used in the industry, or connected solutions, or digitalization, and so on. And particularly talking about home automation, this was an interesting area, because for us as energy technology students, it was also important to focus on efficiency in buildings, because one of our courses in the master program was about energy efficiency and how to reduce bills and energy management in a building. So home automation was a familiar topic. It's been there for years. There are KNX systems, there are Luxon systems, there are wired systems. These have always been popular. But then, fast forwarding to 2017, from 2014, we happened to notice a huge entry of plug and play devices. These are do-it-yourself smart home devices, which suddenly got popular in the market and became affordable. So even us as fresh graduates, not earning really high, we were able to afford some of these products, buy it for ourselves, have it in our homes, and use it basically for entertainment or anything of that sort. So this was one of those first touch points for us to get into the smart home area. And then we kind of realized, okay, here's a challenge that we ourselves face when we try to look for smart home products. What exactly is that? That being many different manufacturers, several products, and different radio standards. So that's a plethora of options out there. It's literally a jungle when you go into the retail market and try to look for products that you would want for yourself. So we as regular consumers, as lay people, walked into a store and tried to purchase solutions. And then we end up having products that don't work with one another, and we have to depend on an app for every other product. So this was a situation that got us thinking. And parallelly, there was also an opportunity because we tried to dig deeper and see how this trend is picking up. And then we happened to see that 36% of Germans already were smart home users, which means they were already using it for their home security, or they were particularly using wireless speakers or Alexa systems to kind of have it as an entertainment device. But very few were using it for reducing energy bills. So energy efficiency was the least thought of topic. It was more of security, entertainment, and also a luxury that people who could afford could go for such systems. Now, this was mainly the opportunity that we could see that, okay, here's a problem that we as lay people experience, and here's an opportunity on the other side that shows us a scalable market, that shows us an opportunity, and here's something that we could tap. So this was when we were in two different locations still working, and Anand happened to get on a call with me on a weekend, so we were just catching up. And at that time we said, okay, Anand, there are these smart home devices, and there is this problem of interoperability, and how do we go ahead and work on it? So this was the time where we kind of started ideating. And with this whole concept of ideation, when we started doing our research, we found out that by 2021, I mean, this was 2017. So by 2021, the estimate was about that there will be about 13 million connected homes in Germany alone, which means people would go in, buy a lot of smart home products and use it for upgrading their lifestyle. So that was the opportunity that we saw. And we said, here's a chance that we can tap on. Should we do it now? Or should we just choose to stick to our jobs? So we were in like entry level jobs. We were being paid a regular salary. So even if you didn't give in your passion or work full time on it, it was still fine because you were getting your paycheck and it was able to take care of your regular bills and so on. And on the other side, we were also passionate. So I did mention about that dream job in the beginning that we always wanted to have. A job that would help us create marketable technologies and solutions that would help people's lives. So this is where we thought we put ourselves in the lives of an end consumer and said, let's dive in. And if we take this opportunity, what is the worst that could happen? The worst is we fail, but what do you get out of it? An experience of starting something from scratch, an experience of learning new things which you would have otherwise not been able to learn, because being part of a larger organization, you don't have this huge departmental exposure. And therefore we said, we have nothing to lose. Money is something that we can always earn. We've got a qualification. We've had some experiences in the past doing internships. So we are interdisciplinary in our backgrounds, and we will be able to find jobs. So this was something that we told ourselves and gave our full to dive in. So when we chose to dive in, we had to quit our jobs. So this was a very spontaneous decision that we had to do. We quit our jobs, moved to a city that we graduated from, which is Karlsruhe in the south of Germany. So since we were graduates of the KIT, which is the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, we chose to move to the city where we had our network, we had our professors, we had our connections. So like I said, as part of the InnoEnergy Master School, we were also trained with a lot of things. It was not only technical, it was also managerial. It was also introducing us to a lot of events, a lot of programs where we as students would be introduced to several co-curricular activities to better ourselves, to become better overall engineers. So one such event that we were introduced by the InnoEnergy Master School was the Startup Weekend. And this happened in Munich. So this particular event was the launch pad for us to first showcase our whole idea. So the idea that we've been speaking on over the phone, and the idea that we chose to just work on during our free time, was kind of documented. An initial business plan, without having much background, was kind of drafted, and we said, okay, let's go ahead, pitch this, because we have nothing to lose. I mean, InnoEnergy gave us an opportunity, gave us a free ticket to attend this event in Munich, a boot camp. So let's go there, let's present this. So that was when we went ahead, presented the idea, and it was very similar to this particular hackathon that all of you are going through. We had several students from across cities, and teams were formed. People didn't know one another, but the point was, in 2 days, we learned so much that we were able to pitch and present our idea in such a way that we won the most marketable idea of the year in that particular event. So that was an eye-opener. That gave us some confidence. And since we had already quit our jobs, we had no backups. Like we basically were living on our savings. And this was the time where we kind of also had second thoughts on why did we even have to choose to quit our jobs? Because, I mean, doing something alone, doing it in a foreign country, doing it without any godfathers behind, doing it without proper language backgrounds and so on, was already challenging. But then what kept us going was the recognition and the visibility that we were getting in every stage. So the next big support system that was in place for us was the SAP's incubator, which was called InnoVerft. So this was an 11-week intense program that really pushed us. And when we got into this program, we were about 25 startups from across Europe. And by the time we reached the 6th week, they were filtering startups that were not performing. So there was a kind of a test and elimination round, or to see the market feasibility, to see how the business plan evolves, to see the scalability, and to see the overall performance. So the 25 that started in the beginning reduced to about 10, and the 10 later became 5. And on the end, on the demo day, when we presented our idea, we were also one of those top-rated startups, and this brought us some more confidence. So with this, all our worries about things not going properly, not seeing light at the end of the tunnel, was all kind of compensated. So in parallel, what was going on is that there was also a visa issue. Us as expats, us as non-Europeans, when you choose to live in a foreign land, you're supposed to be legally under a visa. And in my case, I had a little longer visa, which lasted for about a year more. So I could afford to take time off and also do things, find a job. But on the other hand, Anand was on the red flag. He was on the last few months of his visa. So by the time his visa goes out, we need to be achieving something. If not, we would have to get on the next plane back home. So the goal was not to remain in Europe or take advantage of it. The goal was to prove, and the goal was to get into a direction that we were passionate about. The goal was to not turn back. So this was when we said, let's give our full in, and parallelly we worked with our professors from the KIT, and especially the Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship was very, very supportive. And they immediately sat with us, gave us appointments, said that there is a possibility for us to prepare a proposal or detailed documentation with which they could forward it with their affiliation to the Ministry of Science and Technology, which is similar to the DST. With that, we kind of made a very detailed plan. So we were about, it was just Anand and myself in the beginning, and then we happened to find another student from the KIT who was also passionate about the whole concept. So we were onboarding the team, and at this point we had literally no funding sources. So all of it was bootstrapping. And we happened to define this whole documentation, which was a 92-page document in German, of which only 25 pages was the business plan and the remaining was all bureaucratic stuff. So we had to do all of this work in 3 months and send it to the Department of Science and the Ministry of Economics and Energy, which then awarded us a grant of 150,000 euros because our business plan was convincing and we were invited, we were able to present. And in the end, this was one of the first starting points to set sail. So with this Exist business startup grant, we were able to relocate to a proper office. Before that, it was just our living rooms. So we were able to properly sit down in a place, have our design space, have our creative space to jot down things on flowcharts, brainstorm, work a lot, get more people on board, work on the software, work on the product, think of different areas to tap on. In parallel, we were also taken in by Axel. So Axel is an energy accelerator that focuses on basically renewable solutions and utilities. So Axel basically was the one that gave us a lot more opportunities to connect with a bigger network, to connect with a bigger partner that was out there, to have pilot projects. And this also brought us some more visibility via competitions because we were able to get into markets that we didn't imagine to be. So we were earlier focusing on only smart home retailers or affiliate portals, but then competitions such as the Habitation introduced us to the real estate segment as well. So we were part of one of the largest real estate exhibitions here in the country. And that was another great chance. So with that, fast forwarding over time, I mean, we will of course describe a little more in detail on what our startup does. Anand, my co-founder, will be doing it in detail. So before we head there, I would like to tell you on the other stages that we happen to reach. So the most recent achievement that we had was the Smart Home Germany Award. So this was the most prestigious award that one can, this is the most prestigious award that one can have in the smart home space. And it's awarded every year by a consortium based in Berlin. And we were awarded this particular award for the year 2019 for our smart home configurator. Now, our configurator focuses on plug and play devices, which would help an end user configure solutions that would best fit their requirements. And based on this, we were also invited to China and representing Germany as part of the Ministry of Economics. We were also representatives from the German Energy Accelerator. And we happened to be recognized as one of those top performing projects that would also have an opportunity in India, in China. So with that, what exactly do we do at Smartivate? So this is where I would like to ask Anand to take the lead.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeevan. So as Jeevan was mentioning, about 36% of Germans were using the plug and play smart home automation services in Germany. Out of which around 50%, we saw like around 50% were using just these plug and play smart home devices. The problem what we observed was there were in total around 90 plus manufacturers producing about 800 plus products in Germany alone. Each and every device has one protocol like Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Z-Wave, and each large manufacturer, let's say Philips or Bosch, they have their own protocols to control their devices. And the end users who does not know about all these protocols started buying all the top products from each manufacturer and started using in their homes. But the most important problem was incompatibility or interoperability between the devices. One works on Wi-Fi, one works on Bluetooth, and one works on other communication standard, which they cannot speak with each other. So what's the solution to it? How do we solve it? So that's when we came up with the idea of the smart home configurator. The smart home configurator is a tool which will guide, which will educate the user to teach him what exactly can be changed in his house. Is it lighting, controlling of device itself, or whichever you think of. Have user might have heard of just one smart device called, but then he doesn't making waiting for. So
Anand, there is a break in your voice.
Anand, can you hear us?
am I audible now? Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah, now you are audible. Let's go ahead,
Okay.
Anand.
Yeah. So so we have developed a journey where an end user can experience what can be changed in the house, and then at the end of the journey, they will get to see different options. So during this journey, we'll be asking very simple questions like what type of house does he live in, which phone does he use, what is he looking for exactly. So combining all these answers, our AI algorithm will read the answers and give them recommended products based on three different packages: best pricing, best rated products, and the best valued products, which is a balance of best priced and best rated products in the market. And we have one more option called customizable package, where people can select products from either best priced products or best rated products, and combine everything together and buy everything at one click from top selling top selling shops like Amazon or MediaMarkt Saturn or Chroma, for example, in India. So all the electronic stores. So we redirect the customer to the electronic stores. The most important thing here is that the products we recommend standard and all be controlled with just one app on their phone. And that's what we did. Which can be plugged in into online. We have spotted different target customers for different sectors who might be useful, who might be using our configurator. Here in the offline sector, we have construction companies, real estate companies, and facility management companies who can integrate our software into their existing system, or the utility companies themselves can recommend, because in Germany we have the heating system. For the energy companies to get into smart homes is through smart thermostats. So we gave them the opportunity to start off with the smart thermostats and expand their smart homes with the other different categories. We started off with aggregator platforms where people what smart home products are, and there we gave the opportunity for them to explore more and apps are the one I was telling about. When you go to, it's like a supermarket. When you go for bread or milk, you also check for other products like onions and rice, etc. And then, oh, I forgot about this. Okay, let me have this. So that kind of feel is what we try to give through the online configurator for smart homes. Next slide. Yeah. So on top of this, the most important thing which is in trend right now in Germany is the IoT services in smart homes. So people who have bought these smart home products don't have to stop there. These can be interlinked. So there is this thing from a US-based company called IFTTT. If this, then that. So if if I receive the newspaper, my light will go on. If I receive an email, my water will be off. So kind of such kind of things can be automated and can be done in very easy way. For this, in Germany itself, a platform of connected devices to outside world. One attracted to refrigeration camera. So you have a camera inside your fridge, and the camera detects how much milk is there in your fridge. If it's beyond the limit, then directly a milk carton will be added to the basket where you buy your groceries directly at a regular price. So all these things are based on the IoT. So the product and the demand supply are all connected through one specific platform, and only that thing can happen with the smart home devices through IoT. So apart from all those things, IoT projects can also be done. And some of those projects where we have implemented our solution to is the pilot projects. And the first one where we did was the Nassauische Heimstätte. This is a very large construction company in Frankfurt, one of the biggest, and they have built social homes for the poor people, and they have the houses for subsidized prices, and their main goal was to reduce energy bills, specifically for heating and lighting, and also provide them with a little bit of security. So they have hosted a competition on the place, and we enabled our solution as a pilot project for 20 different homes. We have built an exclusive configurator just for them to be used by their tenants. The biggest achievement what we had till date so far is Home and Smart, where Home and Smart is the largest platform portal in Germany for smart homes. So they write blogs, and there are around 600 to 700,000 visitors every month on their platform. So we have placed our configurator there, where we redirect the customers from there to Amazon using the configurator. So, and one last one is the U&I Smart Home. They are the local installation partners for smart home devices, and they have been also using our configurator there on their platform. Think is like Amazon for smart home devices in Germany, and close a deal with them. They will be the hardware with our solutions, what we have built so far. Yeah. Next slide. So, what in these lessons in our journey, from what Jeevan has mentioned and from what we have gone through, I would like some, especially with what we have gone through and what you have to avoid doing when you get into such startups and so on. So this might be useful for some of you who are willing to start something on your own. And one most important thing is start small and stay focused. Don't deviate. And one such example for us was the co-creation, which Jeevan was mentioning at the beginning. So this is a workshop which was organized by one of our friends, where we practiced the same workshop when we were in master school. So this is a place where 25 to 30 of us, all friends from different places, different backgrounds, engineers, MBA graduates, normal people, doctors, were as a part of a group there. And we had to co-create for pivoting, for not pivoting, but for learning how to enhance the growth of our startup and move forward. So we just focused on how to take the product from the basic place to a marketplace where everyone can utilize it. And this was back then a B2C idea, where we started off with we thought we'll start with the online shop, but then things changed. Next slide, Jim. So that's when we started facing a lot of problems because of the challenges we had. It was B2C, where we thought of building an online shop for smart home products. And then the challenges were we didn't have enough money, and we didn't have enough people to support our idea, and we had to take risks how to proceed further. So that's when Axel came into play and helped us and supported us, and we had to pivot our idea from B2C to B2B. So all the customers, all the competitors who were there back then have become our customers. So we had to eliminate a whole value chain. We jotted down, just focus on our unique selling proposition, which is the smart home configurator. During B2C, we had like a virtual home setup to show where the smart products can be installed, and a shop where we can sell the products, and the solution with the smart home configurator. And all these were a chain together.
Anand, we are running a bit late on time. Can you please slowly start to wind up?
Sure. No worries. So at the end, but the most important thing what I'd like to say here is that we didn't have a plan B or C or D. We had only one plan and we stuck to it. We are glad that it worked out for us, but we definitely recommend you to have a plan B or plan C. So take risk, but move forward and stay focused. I would like to end the presentation by saying that please stay focused, stay passionate, and get inspiration from people around you, like how we did. Because when we were in accelerators, we saw people coming from different backgrounds, different age groups, even people who have quit their jobs, who are working, earning 5-digit, 6-digit salaries, who are still thinking about ideas, who are so passionate. So they were very inspiration to us, and that kept us moving forward. So with this, we would like to end our presentation.
Thank you so much, Anand and Jeevan. It's always pleasure to listen to you guys, and also many thanks for sharing your story. Normally, when you ask to pitch, people show only the rosy side of the company, but there's a lot of struggle. I mean, especially being foreigners and making company in Germany, and now you guys are hugely successful. Not even knowing proper German language, I think. So it's amazing, and many thanks to both of you, and also good luck. I'm sure you will be a rock star soon. You're already.
Thank you,
a lot. Thanks a lot, Jagdish. Cool. Indeed, quite a roller coaster for us. So that's, as you said, it's never always the nice side to be known. It's also important to know the baby steps, and that's the most important lesson that we all have to experience. And I'm pretty sure your approach here via Dare to Start is all about that. So that's a huge round of applause.